Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is one of my favorite video games of all time. It has really awesome characters. A cool feature every character has are taunts. Each character has 3 taunts, and each taunt has a different animation. However, some characters have taunts that deal damage to opponents. These characters include Luigi, Snake, Greninja, and Kazuya. However, what if every character has a damaging taunt? That is what we're gonna find out. Last video, previously, I have given every Smash 4 characters a damaging taunt, and then before that I also did Smash 64 Melee and Brawl, so if you haven't watched that, then go watch those videos out soon. But in this video, I'll be giving every damaging taunts for characters from Smash Ultimate in the base game. Not DLC. DLC would be the next video. Unfortunately, I don't have any capture card, so I'll only show you screenshots. Now, how will I give each character a damaging taunt? Here's how. If a character has a taunt that seems like an attack, that could be a damaging taunt. If none of those taunts apply, then I would give that character a random taunt or a taunt from their series that would fit like an attack. With that said, let's get started, and I hope you enjoyed this video. For Dark Samus, her damaging taunt would be her up taunt, where the phase-on deals multiple small hits. The animation is a bit altered, where the phase-on energy would show up even more, making it like a bit more powerful, but still it would deal a weak damage and a weak knockback. For Daisy, her damaging taunt would be her up taunt, which this has been changed a bit. She hits a Mario Party dice block, which shows a number, and that would fit pretty well for a taunt for her. And the hitbox is only when and where she hits the dice, and the damage and knockback depends on what number she gets. A higher number would result high damage and knockback, and vice versa. So if it's like a higher number like 6, then it'll be one of the stronger taunts in the game, and probably like as strong as Kazuya's taunt. But if it's 1, then it would not make the opponent flinch. And so, the higher the number, the more knockback, and that will be a best taunt for Daisy. For Chrom, his damaging taunt would be his side taunt, which is another pose showing the sword. And yeah, this sword, give the sword a more horizontal range, so that the range would be pretty decent, and the taunt, it would just deal 1 hit with a weak damage and knockback, and make the animation a bit faster and a little bit more aggressive. So like Chrom would like instantly show his sword forward, and it will deal a weak damage with a weak knockback. For Ken, his damaging taunt is actually a new taunt, where Ken does 2 small kicks that deal minor damage and a weak knockback, and this would replace his side taunt. So yeah, his side taunt is a complete replacement, where he'll do 2 kicks, and yeah, it'll be 2 weak hits and a weak knockback. For Inkling, her damaging taunt would be her side taunt, where the ink deals 3 hits that would deal minor damage with a set knockback. And it would also ink the opponent as well. However, if there's no ink, then it will not ink the opponent, and it would not deal any damage. So yeah, this one would be pretty interesting, because it would actually ink the opponent, and it will affect the ink meter, and so that is something unique. But it will deal set knockback, so that this would actually never kill at all. But this would still be interesting taunt, and this would be Inkling's damaging taunt. For Ridley, his damaging taunt would be his side taunt, where Ridley's claw would deal 1 hit with some knockback. And so I would make the animation a bit faster, so the taunt would be shorter. So yeah, this would be another one of the stronger taunts in the game. It won't be like as strong as the other strong taunts I mentioned before, but it would still be pretty decent damage and decent knockback for a taunt. For Simon, his damaging taunt would be his side taunt, where Simon's whip would deal multiple hits with a very weak knockback. And so I would make the animation a bit faster so the taunt would be shorter. And so yeah, it would just be multiple weak hits with a pretty weak knockback. For Richter, his damaging taunt would be his side taunt, where Richter's whip would deal one hit with a weak knockback. And so it will have a pretty decent range as well. And yeah, this would fit best for Richter for a damaging taunt. For K. Rool, his damaging taunt would be his down taunt, where K. Rool's stomp would deal one hit with some knockback. So yeah, this would be another one of the stronger taunts in the game. And it has a pretty decent range. And then there's also some range like outside his foot that would trip the opponent, but it would deal very weak damage. And it would just trip the opponent if within that range. But at the foot though, it deals some knockback and decent amount of damage for a taunt. For Isabel, her damaging taunt would be her down taunt, where the animation is altered. Isabel would use her pom-poms and does a twirl before finishing off with that pose. And so this taunt would deal multiple weak hits with a very weak knockback. And so yeah, very weak damage and very weak knockback. And the taunt itself, it's a bit longer, but the pose would still be there at the end of the taunt. Lastly, for Incineroar, his damaging taunt would be his up taunt, where the flame belt would deal some damage and knockback. And yeah, this would be another one of the stronger taunts in the game. And yeah, it won't be like the strongest taunt in the game, but it does deal decent amount of damage and knockback for a taunt. And the belt itself has fire properties, so it could ignite, it could activate remote bombs and barrels, flame barrels. And that will be Incineroar's damaging taunt. Thank you for watching today's video. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you liked this video, then hit that like button and subscribe to my channel. I already went over Smash 64, Melee, Brawl, Smash 4, and now Smash Ultimate base game characters. So all there's left now is Smash Ultimate DLC's characters. I hope you stay tuned for that. But with that said, that's going to do it for this video. And take care everyone, and I'll see you next time.